Speak English with Speak Unstoppable. Hey, English learners, welcome back to the Speak Unstoppable podcast, your English podcast for daily life English, real conversations, and easy listening practice that makes you confident and excited to speak. This is the place where you learn real English from real talk, not boring grammar books, not stressful lessons. I'm Maria.
And I'm John.
So, John, how are you feeling today? Was your day busy or full of surprises?
Yeah, a bit busy. I had some work in the morning, then planned ideas for the channel, but now I feel calm and ready. How about you, Maria?
I'm doing great. Just a little tired. I stayed up late listening to a podcast.
Oh, wow. So you were enjoying English instead of sleeping?
Maybe, but it felt so relaxing. And today I'm super happy because we get to sit and talk with our amazing listeners again.
Same here. It always feels awesome to sit together, talk naturally, and support all of you.
Yes, it really feels like we're all sitting in one cozy, joyful room together. Okay, John, now that our little chat is done, let's really dive into today's topic. Because when we say, don't waste your time, it sounds simple at first. But if you really think about it, it's one of the most important ideas for everyone, especially for English learners. Many people spend hours working, studying, or even relaxing, and yet, by the end of the day, they feel like their time has just disappeared. It's not that they did nothing, but somehow, at the end, there's this strange feeling of emptiness, like a day has passed but nothing really meaningful happened.
Yes, Maria. That's exactly what I notice with so many learners. People are busy. Their day is full. But when they stop for a moment and think about it, they ask themselves, did I really do something useful? Did I spend my time in a way that actually helped me? And that question, even though it sounds simple, can create a very uncomfortable feeling because it shows that time has moved, but the results they wanted didn't appear.
Exactly. And for English learners, this can feel even more frustrating. You might spend time listening to a podcast, watching a video, or reading something, but after a while, you realize that your confidence hasn't increased, your speaking hasn't improved as much as you hoped, or your vocabulary hasn't really grown. That's when you start to feel like maybe your efforts are wasted, even though you were working hard.
Right. And this is where most people get confused. They think that wasting time means doing nothing at all, but actually, wasting time can happen even when you're busy. It happens when your actions don't have a clear direction or purpose. You're doing things, but they're not moving you forward in a way that matters to you.
Exactly. And I think one of the biggest reasons people waste time is that they are not intentional with it. Intention is so important. When you are intentional, you are choosing what to do on purpose for a reason. When you are not intentional, your time starts to choose for you. And time usually chooses the easiest option for your brain, like checking your phone, watching random videos, or scrolling endlessly through social media.
Yes, that's such a good point, Maria. And the tricky part is that while you are scrolling or watching, it doesn't feel like wasting time. It feels like a small break, a little fun, or just relaxing. But after an hour or two, you realize that instead of feeling refreshed, you feel more tired, heavier, or even a little guilty.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You don't feel rested, you feel drained. And that's because real rest comes from doing something that actually restores your mind or body. Fake rest, like mindless scrolling, constantly switching apps, or watching random videos, takes energy instead of giving it back.
And many people confuse these two. They think that stopping work automatically means rest. But rest is not just about stopping work. It's about calming your mind, slowing down, and allowing yourself to recover. If your mind is constantly moving, even when your body is still, you're not really resting.
Exactly. And sometimes people are actually trying to rest, but they choose the wrong type. They want a small break, but they pick something that doesn't really help them feel better. Instead, it leaves them feeling worse, more tired, and more frustrated with themselves.
Yes, and another reason we waste time is lack of direction. Many learners, and even adults in general, go from one task to another without a clear plan. When you don't know what to do next, your time chooses for you. And usually, it chooses the easiest path, the path of least resistance. That could be scrolling on your phone, watching random videos, checking messages, or just switching from one small task to another without any purpose.
And here's an important point, John. Those small, empty moments between tasks are extremely valuable. Many people feel uncomfortable with even 1 or 2 minutes of nothingness, so they quickly fill it with something, anything, to avoid the quiet or the pause. But that pause could have been used wisely to think, to breathe, to review vocabulary, or even just to relax properly.
Absolutely. That's why I always tell learners, notice those small moments. Don't ignore them. 5 minutes waiting for the bus? 10 minutes while drinking coffee? Or even a short pause before starting your next task? These are not wasted moments. They are opportunities to use your time intentionally.
Yes, and many learners feel like, I don't have enough time to study English, so they wait for 1 full hour to sit and learn. But the truth is, big hours rarely happen. Life gives you small pieces of time all throughout the day, and those small pieces can be extremely powerful if used wisely.
Exactly. Those small pockets of time might seem insignificant, but when you use them consistently, they add up in a huge way. And the best part is that small actions are easier to start. Your brain doesn't resist something that feels small and doable.
That's a really important point. Resistance is natural. When a task feels too big or overwhelming, your mind automatically avoids it. Avoidance is not a failure. It's a signal. It's your brain protecting you from stress. But when you break tasks into smaller, manageable steps, fear decreases and action becomes possible.
And once you start taking small steps, you create a positive loop. Every small action builds trust in yourself. Every time you complete a small goal, you feel capable, confident, and motivated to continue. This trust is one of the most important foundations for learning a language or doing anything meaningful.
Exactly. And the beauty of small, intentional steps is that they feel natural and light. You don't feel pressured. You don't feel like you have to do something huge or perfect. You just do a small thing with awareness, and it gradually adds up to real progress.
Yes, and the key is to notice, to be aware of your time, and to gently guide yourself instead of judging yourself. Judging yourself creates guilt. Guilt creates stress, and stress makes learning even harder. But awareness, intention, and small actions make learning easy and even enjoyable.
So, in this first part, our main message is simple but powerful. Wasting time is often not about being lazy or not having enough hours. It's about not being intentional. It's about letting time choose for you instead of choosing for yourself. Once you start making small, intentional choices, every day starts to feel more meaningful, and English learning becomes a part of life, not a burden.
Exactly, Maria. Time that is used with intention is never wasted. And noticing the difference between meaningful and mindless activities is the first step toward taking control of your day, your learning, and your life.
Yes, and that's the beginning. By being kind to your time, by noticing it, and by making small, intentional choices, you slowly start to feel in control. You start to trust yourself and every tiny action builds into something bigger, something meaningful. All right, John, now that we understand why time can slip away without us noticing, let's talk about how we can actually start using it better, especially when it comes to learning English. Because understanding the problem is one thing, but knowing practical steps to change is what really makes the difference.
Yes, exactly. And one thing I always notice is that many learners underestimate the power of routines. Routines are not boring, they are actually freedom. A routine is like a small roadmap for your day, a guide that tells your brain what to do without wasting energy deciding every single step.
I completely agree. Think about your morning routine, for example. Many learners wake up, check their phone immediately, scroll through social media for 20 minutes, and then suddenly it's time for work or school. They didn't plan their morning intentionally, so valuable time just slipped away.
Right, but if you have a tiny plan for your morning, say, drink water, stretch for 2 minutes, and review one English word or phrase, you set your day in motion with intention. That small 5 to 10 minute routine already changes the energy of your entire morning.
Yes, and it doesn't feel heavy because it's small. The key is tiny, achievable steps. Not big, overwhelming goals. Small wins create momentum. Every tiny win is like a little deposit in your confidence bank.
Exactly. And this connects to the idea of pocket time. Have you heard this term, Maria?
Yes, pocket time is one of my favorites. It's all those small, in-between moments during the day that seem insignificant at first, but can actually be used very powerfully. For example, 5 minutes waiting for the bus, 10 minutes walking, 7 minutes before your lunch break.
Yes, those minutes are everywhere. And what many people do is just throw them away. They scroll, check messages, watch videos, or stare at nothing. But if you use those minutes intentionally, you can make real progress in English.
Exactly. Let me share a story. One of my friends has 2 kids and a full-time job. She thought she would never have time to learn English. But then she realized she could use pocket time. 5 minutes walking to the bus, 10 minutes during lunch, a few minutes before sleep. After a few months, she was surprised at how much she improved. She could understand more, speak more confidently, and her vocabulary grew steadily.
That's amazing. And it proves that even small minutes add up if used wisely. Many learners think they need a full hour or two every day, but in reality, life gives you small fragments, and these fragments are much easier to manage consistently.
Yes, and another thing I notice is that learners often feel guilty for using small pockets of time because they feel not enough. But the truth is, small actions repeated consistently are more powerful than one big effort done once.
Exactly. And we can also make pocket time fun. For example, listening to a favorite English song, repeating a phrase, or reading a line or two of a story. These small, enjoyable actions make learning feel light, and you don't even notice time passing.
Yes, fun is so important. If English always feels like a serious task, your brain starts to resist. But when you connect learning to something enjoyable, like music, shows, stories, or even small games, your brain stays motivated naturally.
And this is where the idea of tiny plans comes in again. Instead of saying, I will study English for 1 hour, you can say, I will learn 2 new words now. Or, I will read 5 sentences. It's achievable, it feels light, and you're more likely to start.
Exactly. And once you start, momentum builds. Even on busy days, completing one tiny task gives you a sense of accomplishment. You stop feeling guilty and start feeling in control.
Yes, and here's another tip. Combine your learning with things you already do daily. For example, if you like coffee in the morning, you can listen to an English podcast while making it. If you take a shower, you can repeat a song or phrase quietly in your mind.
Or, if you are walking, use that time to practice speaking aloud. These tiny integrations turn ordinary moments into learning moments. You don't need to carve extra time because you're using the time you already have.
And the beauty of this is that it removes pressure. You don't feel like you are studying English in a stressful way. Instead, it becomes part of your natural daily rhythm.
Exactly. And let's talk about one common trap. Many learners think, I will start tomorrow, or I need the perfect time. But tomorrow rarely comes, and perfect time doesn't exist. Life is messy, and the real skill is learning to use the time you have right now.
Yes, and this is where awareness comes in again. Notice your time. Notice small gaps. Notice when your mind is distracted. And then, gently decide what to do with that moment. It doesn't need to be huge. It just needs to be intentional.
Yes, awareness plus small intentional actions equals real progress. And over time, those small steps create a habit that builds consistency and trust in yourself.
And that consistency is what really moves you forward. Because language learning is not a sprint, it's a steady journey. Each day, each small step adds up to something meaningful.
Exactly. And another thing I want to mention is the feeling of reward. When you complete even a tiny task intentionally, it feels good. You feel proud, confident, and motivated. That positive feeling encourages you to keep going.
Yes, it's a feedback loop. Small actions create confidence. Confidence encourages more action. More action creates skill, and skill reinforces confidence. It's simple, but most learners underestimate it.
And that's why routines, pocket time, and tiny plans work together. They remove fear, reduce distraction, and make English learning enjoyable and sustainable.
Exactly. And I think it's important for listeners to remember, it's not about doing more hours, it's about using the hours you already have wisely. Even a few minutes, repeated consistently, can create huge results.
Yes, and small steps also allow for balance. You don't have to give up rest, fun, or other activities. You can integrate English naturally without feeling stressed or guilty.
Yes, balance is key. Time isn't just about studying, it's about learning, resting, enjoying, and growing in all areas of life. So, in this part, our main takeaway is use small, intentional actions, pocket time, and routines.
Make English learning part of your life, not a separate, stressful task. When you do this, you stop wasting time and start investing it in yourself. All right, John, now that we've talked about small routines and pocket time, I think it's important we discuss something a bit more dangerous: the sneaky things that steal our time without us noticing. Things like social media, endless notifications, or just mindless scrolling.
We often call them time thieves. Yes, Maria, time thieves are tricky because they don't feel bad while you are doing them. Checking one message seems harmless. Watching a short video seems innocent. But then 1 hour passes and suddenly that time is gone. And the worst part is, you don't get anything meaningful back.
Exactly. And many learners feel frustrated because they know they should be using their time better, but they don't want to give up their little breaks. The truth is, not all screen time is bad. The problem is mindless, uncontrolled consumption. That's what steals your time.
Yes, and here's a common example. You sit on your bed for a quick 5-minute break to check a message. Then you see a funny clip. Then another video pops up. Before you know it, you're watching random clips, reading comments, or even getting involved in arguments online. By the end, your brain is tired, your body is tired, and you didn't learn anything.
Exactly. And that feeling afterward is heavy. It's not rest, it's exhaustion with guilt. And guilt is very dangerous because it makes you avoid learning next time. You start thinking, I'll just relax completely, then I'll study later. And the cycle continues.
Yes, this is why awareness and rules are important. Simple rules like, when I study, my phone stays in another room, or I will check social media only after I finish my tiny English plan, can protect your time without making life feel boring.
It's like locking the door when a thief is outside. You're not angry at the thief, you're just protecting what belongs to you, your focus, your energy, your time. And this small action creates space for meaningful learning.
Exactly. And another thing we have to mention is being distracted. Distraction doesn't only come from phones or social media. Sometimes your own mind jumps between tasks, worries, or random thoughts. And when you are distracted, even when sitting with a book or listening to a podcast, your brain isn't fully engaged.
Yes, and that's why small, intentional steps matter. When you focus on one tiny action, your mind starts to settle. Instead of multitasking and feeling scattered, you become present. And presence is where real learning happens.
Another important concept is investing your time, not just spending it. When you watch a video with intention, repeat a phrase, or review a few words, you are investing in your future. You are using time now to create benefits later. Mindless scrolling, in contrast, is just spending time without return.
Exactly. And this brings us to rest. Many learners fear that if they are not working or studying every minute, they are wasting time. But rest is essential. Your body and mind are like a battery. If you keep using it without charging, it dies. Proper sleep, quiet moments, and simple rest are not wasting time. They prepare you to use time better later.
Yes, I remember one evening I tried to complete a big project late at night while exhausted. I spent 2 hours, but the work was poor. Next morning, after proper rest, I did the same task in just 30 minutes, and it was much better.
That's proof that overworking is not efficient. Proper rest is part of intentional time use. Exactly. So, the key is balance. Balance between work, learning, fun, and rest. Not too much of one, not too little of another. Even a little of each, consistently, makes your days feel lighter, happier, and more productive.
And when we talk about words we used today, let's make sure learners understand them deeply. Intentional, vague, pocket time, distracted, time thief, invest, routine, balance. All these words are tools to help manage time wisely.
Yes, John. Let's quickly recap with examples. Intentional means doing something on purpose, not by accident. Vague means unclear. Pocket time is those small, in-between moments. Distracted means your attention jumps everywhere. Time thief is something that steals your time. Invest means using time or energy now to get a benefit later. Routine is the order of daily activities. Balance is mixing different parts of life well.
Exactly. And if you choose one of these words today and make your own sentence, you're practicing actively. You're using your tiny moments intentionally, just like we discussed.
Yes, even a small sentence in your head or writing it down in the comments is enough. It's a friendly exercise for your brain, like sending it to a mini gym for training.
And finally, some simple steps to implement today. Step 1. Choose one tiny English goal. Step 2. Decide when you'll do it. Maybe during pocket time, before bed, or on the bus. Step 3. Make it enjoyable. Songs, shows, or a short story. Step 4. After completing it, say something kind to yourself. Nice, I used my time well. Or, good job, I did my small plan.
Yes, these small reflections make a big difference in how you feel about learning. You stop being your own enemy and start being your coach, guiding yourself gently but effectively.
And when you combine awareness, tiny plans, pocket time, balance, rest, and fun, you create a learning environment where time is your friend, not your enemy. Every day becomes meaningful. Every small action compounds into real progress.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing is that it doesn't require hours of study or perfect conditions. It just requires gentle intention, small steps, and mindful use of your time. Over weeks and months, these small, consistent actions will create fluency, confidence, and a sense of control over your life.
So, to wrap up part 3, remember, protect your focus. Avoid time thieves. Use pocket time. Take proper rest, and make every small action intentional. That is how you truly stop wasting your time and start investing it wisely.
Yes, John, time is precious, and learning English or doing anything meaningful is not about the hours you spend. It's about how you use them. Start small, stay intentional, and trust the process. That's the key to making time work for you, not against you. Okay, John, let's quickly recap our tips so our listeners can remember them easily.
Good idea.
Tip 1. Make a tiny plan for your day, like a GPS address guiding your actions.
Tip 2. Use your pocket time, the small coins of time hidden in your day.
Tip 3. Make English fun. Turn learning into a game, not a punishment.
Tip 4. Watch out for time thieves. Protect yourself from endless scrolling and random distractions.
Tip 5. Remember that rest is not wasting time. It's like charging your battery so you can use your energy wisely.
That's a beautiful summary, Maria.
Thanks, John. And we want to say this clearly. Your time is valuable. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to use your time a little better each day.
Yes, even 10 good minutes every day can make a big difference in your English over time.
Mm-hmm. And we truly believe you can do that.
Now it's your turn.
Yes, here's a question for you. What is one thing that wastes your time? And what is one small change you will make after listening to this episode?
Please write your answer in the comments. Your idea might help another learner too.
And if this episode helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who also wants to use their time wisely.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. You didn't waste it. You invested it in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're proud of you.
This was Speak Unstoppable with Maria and John.
Until next time, use your time well and be kind to yourself.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Your progress doesn't end here. To keep advancing your English skills, click on the next video or explore the additional videos we've thoughtfully selected for you.